Hello, and welcome to Let Me Look That Up, the show where we use the internet to try to answer life's trivial questions. I'm your host, Giovanni, and I spent the week looking up this week's topic.
I'm Tristan, and I'm going to look up whatever random things we talk about this week.
And I'm Stacey, and I'm here to have strong opinions and maybe learn something.
We've all been there before. You're hanging out with a couple of friends, and suddenly that random question pops up. Like, what even is a qubit?
That's when somebody ends up pulling out their phone to see if they can find an answer. That's what this show's all about. Just a couple of friends trying to find the answers to life's mysteries.
And I don't know about you, but I've never found an error on the internet.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Today's topic is going to be about idioms. So I work at a place where we use a lot of Italian phrases and that kind of stuff. And I've been really amused at idioms, both in Italian and English and that kind of stuff. So today I wanted to bring to the table a few idioms that I've been thinking about, and we'll see what happens.
All right.
So one of the Italian idioms that I think is hilarious is sputare il rospo, which means spit the toad.
Spit the toad?
Any guesses as to what an Italian person is trying to say to you when they tell you that they have to spit the toad?
Gosh.
Stacey?
I would guess it's something to do with alcohol.
I think lick the toad. Yeah, no, I see where you're going. Actually, spit the toad is like, I need to get something off my chest. I need to, like, be real with you right now.
See, I was going to say, like, you have, like, maybe clear your throat.
Like you're feeling a little hoarse, or you got a frog in your
throat?
Yeah, spit
like
that toad out. I honestly, I haven't done any research into where spit the toad came from. I just think it's hilarious that when you spit the toad, you're just being honest with people. So anyway, spit the toad's great, but I thought we would bring it back to a language that I'm a little more familiar with, English. And I wanted to ask you guys, where do you think the phrase lose your marbles came from? So the reason I'm asking about this one is one of my favorite movies is Hook. I don't think it's that great of a movie, but I watched it at kind of like a formative point in my life.
It's nostalgic.
It's totally nostalgic, yeah. So I forget who says it, but it's like, don't lose your marbles. Yeah. And then he loses his marbles. I think Smee seems like the kind of guy who would lose his marbles.
No, it was, oh shoot, I don't remember his name.
Describe him.
He was the lost boy who came back with Wendy and was in the house with Wendy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like the old guy at this point.
Yeah.
And he was kind of...
I don't remember his name either.
Oh, it's like right there. I'm going to think of it like halfway through.
We'll bring that up again later. But yeah, the whole phrase, don't lose your marbles, always makes me think of Hook. Stacey, do you remember any of this? You're giving me kind of a blank stare.
Hook wasn't that formative, apparently.
Really?
A little young for you, huh?
I have trouble with the whole Peter Pan
plotline,
so
Peter Pan
sorry.
has some issues for sure.
It does.
All right, so anyway, what do you guys think? Like, talk to me about, like, how old you think Lose Your Marbles is. Talk to me about, like, where you think it came. Like, let's make up a history of Lose Your Marbles here.
Hold on. Toodles.
Toodles.
Toodles was the guy's
name?
Toodles?
name.
How could I forget the name Toodles?
Toodles
It's so good.
is the one who lost his marbles.
Great work.
We did it. What's the question?
Where do you guys think Lose Your Marbles came from? Let's start with, like, what era? What era do you think the phrase came from?
I would guess, I mean, it sounds like an old one. So, like, at least 1800s.
Okay.
Possibly earlier.
Okay. They didn't have marbles in the Middle Ages?
Oh, yeah. So it would probably be around the time the game was prevalent.
All right.
When did marbles?
I don't know.
When did marbles?
What's the purpose of a marble
Hey,
other
Tristan.
than for the game?
Tristan, I didn't look up when did marbles,
When did
so you may want to
marbles?
look
Okay.
that one up.
When did marbles come out? Okay. Marbles. Wait, do you want the answer right now, or do you want to still speculate?
No, let's keep guessing. Just
Okay.
like have that on deck. No, I think Stacey wants to know. Stacey's looking at me like she wants to know.
Okay.
I do.
What was the time?
I guessed like early 1800s.
Okay, marbles. They were first mass produced as clay. 1890s.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
More modern.
Man, I would have
than
imagined the
realized.
Romans were playing marbles.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong.
Especially if it was clay first.
Yeah. I was gonna say that like maybe around the 1920s, 1930s is when "lose your marbles" became kind of a common phrase.
Yeah, I'm still caught up on the fact that marbles weren't way older. In my mind, pyramids and marbles were like the two most basic shapes you could make with stone and clay. So
Right. how did marbles become somehow related with brain activity?
Yeah, so what are your guesses?
I have no idea.
What does marbles and brain activity have to do with each other? Or is it even brain activity originally?
Yeah, so my thought is that maybe when you were a kid, marbles was the thing that you played with. That was like, if you lost them, you went a little bit crazy trying to find them. And you're like, Mom, I can't find my marbles. I can't find my marbles.
Or your mom went crazy when she had to clean up all of those random marbles, like as she was sweeping the floor or whatever, and drove her nuts.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you a hint. I think the kids playing marbles is totally part of this whole thing. That became part of the reason why it stuck in American culture. But the origin is actually not literal marbles. It comes from something that's not literal marbles. Any guesses?
Well, with other idioms...
Stacey, you got this look on your face.
With other idioms, I have had this strong theory that most idioms are sexual innuendo.
Okay.
Ooh.
Or some other inappropriate thing that was you couldn't say around the kids, so you had to like modify
wink, wink,
what
nudge,
you
nudge.
said. Yes, exactly.
So marbles would be... Let's use some other idioms here.
I mean, balls. Is that too direct?
Huevos.
It is technically an idiom.
Yeah. They're not literally balls. Okay, well...
Tristan's losing it.
I don't think marbles are not that, but I think don't lose your marbles, which the more I think about it, the weirder this is getting. But don't lose your marbles doesn't actually come from that particular, I don't think. So let me share with you my research.
Okay.
Please clarify this.
So I went to the Brits because the Brits are smarter than us. And phrases.org.uk says that the word marbles referred to stuff. And by stuff, I just mean like general items in your house. And it comes from the word French meubles.
Oh.
Meubles. Man, I'm bad at French.
You said the word French. Did you mean the French word?
Yes. From the French word meubles, which means furniture. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. It's a similar word in Spanish.
Right. So, like, if you, like, picked up your furniture, you would be like, I'm taking my ball and going home.
Oh.
So, and then, of course, us English-speaking folks can't say, I'm demonstrating it perfectly, meubles. So we just turned it into marbles because it was way easier to say. So I'm picking up my marbles means I'm taking my ball and going home. So yeah, it came from like the idea of marbles and stuff, marbles and possessions being related comes from that French word. And then eventually you started having this metaphor of like, you've heard of Mind Palace?
Yes.
Just ringing a bell?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like a memory.
Like Sherlock Holmes.
Trick, yeah.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes memory trick, yeah. So the Mind Palace was full of your furniture or marbles. And so to lose your mind furniture, to lose your marbles, is where it comes from.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and you guys were right on with the era. It was the mid to late 1800s where it became a thing. And it's totally an American idiom.
Huh. Well, so I was not correct with the sexual innuendo.
Well,
piece.
I mean, you weren't exactly wrong. Is there a particular idiom that really kind of kicked that off for you?
Well, yes, the one that comes to mind.
Was it kick that off?
No, but
Because that could totally be, right?
I don't even understand
The
that.
one that always makes me giggle is when something is up your alley.
Oh.
You know, like that movie or that
movie's right up your alley?
Right up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just seems problematic.
Until I met you, I would not have ever gone that direction with that particular one.
What direction would you have gone?
That it was like your block, like that's on your block, or that's where you get deliveries. That giggle was so
I'm
good.
Just saying.
That giggle was so good.
All right, I'm looking up where that actually came from.
Yeah. Let's find
Please.
out where right up your alley is from.
Because I don't think that's right.
Are you saying that I'm over sexualizing something innocent? That would never happen.
We all have a 8th grader in us. Don't worry about it. Fart jokes are hilarious for a reason.
It's true. It's true.
So it looks like it originated from a different term that was right up your street.
Okay.
Um,
Alley was more poetic, or just like during the urbanization of the 1920s, it moved from street to alley.
Or it's more intimate. Oh, wait. I'm
Nope.
taking it back.
We're going back. We're really pushing it in that direction, aren't you?
no definitive origin. It was published in a magazine that said, "It's about time a good murder broke, and this one is right up your alley." Which
God.
I
That's
definitely
dark.
don't want to murder up my alley. Thank you very much.
Well, I imagine there was a lot of like sensationalizing. You know, there was no internet, there was no TV. You kind of had to get your entertainment from the news and from whatever random thing was happening.
So you're saying that
People were bored.
by
That's all I'm
saying
saying.
it's right up your street kind of personalizes it.
Oh, right.
So instead of it being like in the next town over, is right up your street. Dun, dun,
Like
dun.
you can relate.
It can be.
to
It's
it.
your neighbor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
my apologies. The first usage of it was in a magazine, and this one was less weird about murder. This one is just a great many of the books published today are, as the saying is, right up her street. So it was published in a book. Like the first time it was published
Was long after it was a
was
thing.
referring to it being a saying, but there's no origins of the saying.
Which kind of makes you wonder if that publisher was like, I'm going to invent this, but pretend like it's everybody saying
Yeah,
it. So,
everybody's saying.
You know, like all the kids are saying.
one of my least favorite idioms is my dogs are tired. I have no idea why that means my feet are tired. It makes no sense to me. I was in Korea when I was in the Army, and my roommate and I were walking around the town there in Korea that we lived in. And he looked at me and he said, "My dogs are tired." And I looked at him like he was from another planet, which apparently this is a very common phrase. But at that point in my life, I had never heard it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never heard my dogs are tired. Or maybe he said my dogs are barking, which was even more confusing to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah. So he explained, like, took all the wind out of his sails to explain his comment. He's
Wind out of your sails.
like, oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Boom. Happened again. Wait, are you saying that's sexual?
I don't.
It could be. It could be. What about pulling someone's leg? Circling back to my
So that's
theory.
definitely innuendo,
Oh,
right?
That's what I would guess. That's my hypothesis, yes. I imagine that's why it became popular. Maybe that's
Right,
not where
right.
it originated, but why it caught on.
Let's break it down for a second, though.
Pulling
Because
someone's
pulling
leg.
someone's leg is making a joke, like joking at
Tricking them.
someone's expense.
Yeah.
But like, do you pull at people's legs as a prank? Like, haha.
I mean, I
Or,
guess
like,
if you're doing
pantsing
like...
someone, like their pant leg.
Oh, pantsing someone.
That's a prank.
Technically a prank.
I mean,
Yeah, pulling someone's leg. Like, it's not even, like, not pulling someone's pants, not pulling someone's sock, but pulling
their
someone's
leg.
leg.
all right, hold on. I'm looking that one up.
Okay.
What do you got, Tristan?
Giovanni, I think I found something here. There are two popular theories about where pull your leg or pull my leg, pulling my leg, pulling
Whose
my
leg?
leg. The pulling legs.
It's got to be your leg.
The first theory that's popular is that thieves used to pull on people's legs to trip them. Once they were on the ground, the thief would then have ample opportunity to rob them.
Are they hiding in the gutters like the It Clown?
Just whoop. Some people say this happened in the vague medieval markets or Victorian London, while others give it an exact date, saying 1882 with confidence. But there's no documented evidence of this. The second theory, this got dark.
Uh-oh. They always
Like
go
a
dark.
like a
it
murder in
seems.
your alley?
Always,
Stacey,
go
I think we have
This
to
is the
revise
new
your
theory.
theory.
I
New
know.
theory.
It's not innuendo, it's a murder.
they're like children's nursery rhymes. They're all dark.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do it.
All right. This theory has to do with executions by suspension hanging.
No.
It was.
But why the leg?
It's believed that people were occasionally hired to hang on the victim's legs for a quicker death.
Ouch.
I told you it got dark.
And how is that like a joke now?
Right?
Wow.
Right?
Haha, I helped hang you.
Well, if I were to say, though, that you're pulling my leg...
You're killing me, Smalls?
Then it's expressing how painful this is for me right
Ah,
now.
okay,
Maybe.
okay. And then that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
That's my only guess.
Oh.
I like that. That was pretty good and not innuendo.
Right.
Very good work.
Yeah. There's no record of this one changing from hanging to joking or lying. I guess the best we've got is what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, Stacey's now like a historian, and she just defined it for us. So the phrase, yeah, like if I say you're killing me or you're pulling my leg, then the joke, it's like saying that's a really bad dad joke
because you're killing me.
Idiom, yeah.
Yeah, also meaning like.
Yeah. Why were people thinking this was so funny? That's my...
There's only two ways to deal with
again.
death, is like to get lost in it or to make a joke of it. I think those are the only two ways to really deal with it.
Yeah. It's a real sad commentary on humanity, I think.
Mental health.
Oh.
You're killing me is an exaggerated way of saying something or someone is very funny.
I feel like it's super sarcastic at this point in our life.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say you're killing me thinking it's actually funny.
Yeah. I think it depends on the scenario where you're saying it, because like in The Sandlot, he's like, you're killing me, Smalls.
Right.
He's like, we're dying waiting for you to do what we asked you to do.
I guess the other way would be like if you're laughing so hard you could barely breathe.
Right.
You might be like, you're killing me.
Which that's a little less dark, because it's kind of, you do lose your breath sometimes when you're laughing.
Right,
that
right.
hard.
Yeah, unless we're talking about hanging.
Especially.
Yeah. Thanks. Way to bring it back.
Yeah, like really grounding us there, Tristan. Thanks.
Just.
So, what have we learned today?
Well, idioms might not be quite as sexual as I thought, but they're definitely pretty morbid.
Yeah, so when you're listening to people talk, when you're out there in the world and you hear somebody use an idiom, go ahead and just for your own amusement, try to make it sexual, but realize it's probably about death.
Yeah. Try to make a joke out of it rather than focus on how dark.
Right.
As our
You
ancestors
can go either
have
direction.
done.
Let us know what direction you go in your head with idioms now that you've listened to us talk about it for a few minutes.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite idioms that you like or that you think fit into Stacey's theory?
Right.
Of
Right. Do you
innuendo?
support the Stacey theory or the Tristan theory about idioms? Please let us know. Tristan, tell us where they can let us know.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter on Let Me Look That Up, or on Facebook at Let Me Look That Up Pod. And you might get featured on the Listener Lookups. Giovanni, if you remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about soups.
Right, that's where we learned that I'm your biscuit boy.
Biscuit boy, yeah. And you at one point suggested, or maybe not suggested, but you asked if bread was a pasta.
Yeah, is bread a pasta or is pasta bread? What's the rules here?
Yeah, and Jennifer on Instagram had some thoughts about this, and it's very succinct that bread is not pasta.
I think I can agree with that, Jennifer, but I'm still wondering, is pasta bread?
Valid question.
Yeah, I think it could be. Hey, I also wanted to give a shout out on Twitter. We have a friend at Podcast Lover who gave us a nice review. They said it's a fun trivia podcast in a conversational format. Can't wait to see where it goes. And we can't wait to see where it goes either.
I also look for my new Twitter handle, which is going to be Lover of Podcast Lover.
Ah,
So
Wow.
yeah, keep an eye out for that.
follow Podcast
Creepy.
It is. It's creepy.
It's creepy. All right, if you want to shout out or get featured in the listener lookup section, go ahead and reach out to us on our socials.
Also, if you'd like to help us out, we'd love it if you'd buy us a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/let me look that up.
If you don't remember that, you can just go to letmelookthatup.com and hit the little coin button in the top corner.
I like the blonde roast, just so you know.
We're now on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcast. So be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you next week on Let Me Look That Up.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm your biscuit boy, Giovanni.
I'm Tristan.
And I'm Stacey.